See, I have trouble making sure things get done in time, especially with my day-to-day life, YouTube, and my full-time job. So it's pretty difficult to make sure that everything goes according to plan. So one day, a good friend of mine introduced me to this app called Notion, a productivity app. I started using it more and more for my own personal life and also for YouTube content creation. When Notion reached out and asked me if I wanted to do a sponsored video where I talk about how I use Notion, I said, why not? So let's get started with a little showcase. I guess the first thing people want to see me talk about, or the thing they want to see the most discussed on this video, is how I manage my YouTube stuff. Traditionally, how I did things was I would have things scripted in Google Doc. I would have a bunch of different notes in a bunch of different areas, like the reminders app on my phone for some random to-do list tasks that I need to get done. I'd have my project timeline in a Google Sheet, and I found that that wasn't the most productive way, switching back and forth, and there was no flow to all of it. And I realized as this YouTube channel keeps growing, I'm gonna have to start to really consider organizing all of my stuff. I needed a good template. I needed a way to quickly put something together that I can use for YouTube and adapt as I go. That's when I found this one template created by fellow YouTuber Thomas Frank. Now, he has a YouTube specific template that he uses, and it's very, very cool. So I took what he created there and retrofit it and tweaked it to fit my own personal needs. As you can see here, I have two different pages laid out. The first one is the YouTube task list, which are the type of things that I need to complete that I think are important for the channel, that are more like small little things that you have to get out with rather than big projects. Video planning is where all the projects lay. Task lists are to make sure that the channel is running smoothly, and it's pretty much everything that's not related to video making. So let's click into it. As you can see here, I have a list of things that I'm working on. This is kind of cleansed. I've cleansed important details out of this, but here are three things that I have on the board that I am thinking about doing. The first one is obviously under no status. It's build a NAS. It's very low priority. I don't plan to build a NAS anytime soon, but let's just say I wanted to start building it, right? Let's just say I'm buying all the parts. I can easily just take this build a NAS portion and drag it over to in progress, showing to myself and anyone else who looks at this that I am now considering or in the process of building one. I'm just waiting for the parts. And once things are complete, I just move it over here. But let's just say things don't go as planned, right? Then this would stay in progress, and I would click into it to add a comment about it. That way, someone who's viewing this or my future self can reference it back. For example, the current concern is Jimmy is too lazy and does not want to research NASs. If anything, I should actually add another group, and I would call this incomplete or on hold. Now, the big bulk of my YouTube planning is in video planning. And in here, you can see a list of all the videos that have gone live. This page specifically is what's based off of Thomas Frank's template. I, of course, made some changes to the template. He had a lot of extra columns that I didn't personally feel like I needed. I changed up all of the options for the status to fit more of how I view it and my vernacular. So you can see here, if I want to change the status of the video, I can click what I believe the state that it's in. Thank you, Thomas Frank, for this. You can click open right here, and it would open up this page. Now, once again, this was also part of his template, but I've customized it for my own needs. This is basically what you guys see on YouTube, but condensed into a little page like this. Oh, and you can also open it in full screen instead of a pop-up by pressing this. I have the status of the video. It's currently live. I try to have a little bit of fun with the video titles inside Notion because I feel like I can be a little bit wacky, be a little bit creative, and I feel like it really pushes your creative juices, right? So I thought, why not try to make them sound a little clickbaity? Why I never reviewed the iPhone 12 until now. I have things like the status, publish date, sponsor, the URL to the YouTube video, and any comments about this specific video. I put this for the thumbnail. You can see it in the big screen. From here, I have a B-roll list. So this is kind of like the list of shots you see in videos, the random product shot and screenshots you see on the screen. The way I like to do things is I like to write out my entire content in a script. And then from there, looking at the script, I like to try to imagine out my vision for a specific video and then plan out what kind of B-roll I want for that video. Here I have things like the flat edges of the iPhone 12, looking at the iPhone 11 versus the iPhone 12 in terms of screen size, looking at the frosted back, looking at the Pacific blue of the iPhone 12. When I'm done recording a specific shot and I have it, I would check mark this box. Now, if I wanted to look at the script for this YouTube video, I would click here, and this is where the entire script for this video is written. Some of these lines do get removed in the editing process, things that I feel weren't as applicable or didn't sound right coming out of my mouth. But in general, this is all the points that I make throughout the entire video. So now let's go back to the video planning page. The coolest thing that I found about Notion that I love is being able to see all these data attributes, all these rows in different ways. Now let me explain. You see this drop-down menu? When you click that, there are different views of your page. This is the current table view, but when you click the board view, it shows in a different format similar to that YouTube task list. From here, you can see what stage each project is specifically in. For example, this is how I manage my full-time job and YouTube. Well, that's this video. And what we're doing right now is we're recording A-roll, the main shot right here. All these videos over here are live. And if I didn't want to view it this way, I can also look at it in a calendar view. This is the published date for all the videos. So anything that's already been complete would be on here. So yeah, that's how I plan all my YouTube videos. A lot of YouTubers probably have much more complex processes, but this is how I do things as a one-man team. Is there room for improvement? Let's be honest, there's always room for improvement. No one's perfect. Not even you. I've only really started using Notion for my YouTube content about 2 to 3 months ago. And I think this is a very good starting point that I can start to expand upon and populate and make better as time goes on. Let's move on to my personal life. As you know, I've recently moved into a house. And with that comes a lot of different things that I need to get done. And if it's not planned out, they tend to not get done. I have them here in my personal task list. Every time I think of something that I need to do, I dump it into this board. I bought a bookshelf that you've probably seen in my recent videos, and I called my home and auto insurance agent because that's who you need to call around the time when you move. And here you can see my groceries list from last week. As you can see, I got pretty much everything I needed except for soy sauce. There are things that are on hold, things that I didn't have the chance to fully complete yet, like doing my taxes. I definitely need to finish that. I think the deadline is coming up. And finish honeymoon planning. The reason why this is on here is, well, I did get married back in December. We did not do a real honeymoon because, well, but this is just one of 2 potential plans that we have in mind. This one clearly is the West Coast, doing a West Coast trip, or an East Coast trip. And we're still planning out the details of that one before we make up our mind and decide between the 2. But once again, this is very similar to what I had in my YouTube pages. This has 3 different views. The calendar view right here, which is the one you've been seeing. The gallery view, which is a little bit different. Each subpage is now its own little box and describes what we plan to do. Then you can click on table view to view it once again, similar to the table for the YouTube planning. And this kind of details where we plan to go. I might want to hit up Oregon. Is Portland nice enough? Is that a place I want to go? Leave that in the comment section. So yeah, now you know what my honeymoon plans are like. My favorite view, at least for the honeymoon plans, is the timeline view. In this view, you can see things on a timeline. It's kind of self-explanatory. But I like this view because you can really map out what's happening on each individual day. And there's multiple things that kind of stack up on top of each other. And you can even change it from a monthly view to a bi-weekly view, from bi-weekly view to a weekly view, even to a day view. And from there, it might be a little too descriptive, but I kind of like that. It comes in handy. So yeah, that's how I personally use Notion. Notion has come in handy for me. There's even an iOS and Android app that I use to make sure that my to-do lists can be updated from pretty much anywhere. That's why I had groceries list on here. That way I can just check them off. And the cool thing is you can even share these pages and subpages with other people. That makes it easier to collaborate as well. It is a centralized location where all of my information, all of my planning goes, and it's easy to navigate. This is not an app that can replace all your productivity and planning applications, right? But this is a nice place to start writing down your notes, your thoughts, and start to plan out your projects or your engagements, or really even plan out your honeymoon like I did. Anyway, that's how I personally use Notion. Did this video make you want to give it a try, or did it kind of push you away and make you not want to try it? Leave all that in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And, well, I'll see you all next time. Bye.